All right, welcome back, everybody. Tonight, we've got a bit of a fun special feature at the end of Season 7 for you. This is actually new to me. I haven't seen all of the special feature content, so...
I thought you were an expert.
Yeah, but, you know, it's not expert. I don't claim to be an expert on the show. I'm a fan.
Let's roll back this tape. You do claim to be an expert in multiple things.
Maybe. It's probably just cockiness.
You're like, I'm the expert.
I am the fan. I've seen the show multiple times and I've read the books. Tonight, though, we're doing a special on, it's called Fire and Steel, Creating the Invasion of Westeros.
This year, it's like game on.
Yeah.
It's happening. Everything is happening.
You see things
true.
on a scale that you don't see on other shows. But for me, it's always the intimate story, the character story, what links these people.
As big as
it
gets, it's still about these characters and what they're going through.
No, I like
this
it.
season includes such a convergence of storylines.
She's going into Varys' world. She's going into Tyrion's world. And she needs to know, are they going to be true to her, their new leader, or are they suddenly just going to get back into old habits? Varys is the one who I think Daenerys has never quite been sure of. Because, you know, she maps it out pretty clearly. It's like, well, let's go through it.
She really,
I feel like
has
been serving your entire
not
life.
trusted.
It doesn't bode well.
All of her.
It kind of shows sort of like a fair weather friend.
It was easier when it was Joffrey and Tywin, but now that it's Jaime, it's not so easy.
His voice is so weird.
I know, I was just going to say, it's so weird hearing his normal voice.
Women have all come to power. You think it's sort of this male
All come to power.
show, but if you look at who's leading the pack, they're women, and that's a pretty fantastic spin on it all.
The city will fall within a day.
I think everyone in that room has a very strong idea about how to do things.
My God,
I do like how many...
Or pillage.
Yeah, seriously.
It's interesting to her to go this way.
I do like how many strong women leaders there are in this.
We all saw that chemistry.
Yeah.
Euron is a different kind of character that we haven't really had on the show so far. He has goals and has things that he wants, but Euron's way of going about getting the things he wants is a lot more rock and roll.
This is the life. Power's not something.
Yeah, he is more rock and roll. That's a good description.
Oh, yeah. That's what I like about this character, that he takes what he wants. And you know what? It's always more fun to play a baddie than a good guy.
To have somebody traipse into the throne room
Till Cersei slits his throat.
so much fun.
Yeah.
It was a really fun scene to write, and it was an even more fun scene to watch.
I find it very upsetting, you know. He comes in here and he has the coolest looking outfit of all. He looks like a rock star.
Uh-huh.
And he has the funniest line.
So here I am, with 1,000 ships and 2 good hands.
Euron Greyjoy has built the largest armada in this
I
world.
do love the amount of swagger he comes in there with.
Oh, yeah.
He's a wild
He
card.
definitely does.
But he's a wild card.
And we needed a good sea battle in this series, right?
I feel like I'd like to see that guy do something where he is a good guy, though, just to see him pull that off.
That they put into them, the amount of detailing.
The Silence is a massive warship that needed to be designed for the sequence where Euron hit
The amount of work
Yara's
that goes
boat.
into this stuff is
And so
insane.
we designed a
A
big naval
lot.
ram that was on the front of that boat that would then crash into Yara's. And we had the Corvus itself that could also be this very aggressive thing that then all latches onto her ship.
They only built like the front of my ship and the side of it. And it was like 5 times bigger than their little tiny boat. You know, it was just this, it was like their boat was this big and mine was this big.
It was such a great, humongous, mean-looking thing. So it just seemed like the personality match with Euron. It was so spot on. It was so right for that character.
He's crazy.
Yeah, he just loves.
That this was happening at sea.
I love how they have like a spark thing, and they're just like peppering the people with sparks.
Sam's
What
first
an
was
interesting.
just blast a load of water against the sides and it will splash up. And it blew me away. I loved it.
I wanted it to feel like the violence of a riot or football terraces when there's a flash of violence and it just kicks off. Nothing should look choreographed.
I love that it's like
we were trying to do with the sea battle.
Real ship, real fire, real water, but the
Actor Pilu, who
fake,
plays
you know,
him, just relishes in the fighting.
the rest is green
it's a fun
screen.
thing for him to annihilate people.
She realizes that he's not going to stay. I think she's heartbroken at that point that he's done that when they've gone through so much together and she's made so many attempts to save him.
The laugh Euron gives as he's got his niece and she's crying. It's just, to me, that's the character's encapsulation.
Theon in that moment was such a puke.
To Tyrion, and as much horrible history they had with each other.
The Siege of Casterly Rock is so much about what doesn't happen, how it goes contrary to expectations. So in order for us to understand that it doesn't play out the way Tyrion expects it to, you really need to hear Tyrion's expectations. So he's kind of narrating us through it.
The gates of Casterly Rock are impregnable. The fight up the walls will be hard. We will be at a disadvantage.
Casterly Rock was a location that we tried to find in many different places. When we were in Spain, we were looking for it the whole time, just like we were looking for Highgarden. And then what we ended up with was right under our noses. And that was our River Run set that we used last year. One of the advantages we had was that also because Mark did shoot it last year, he knew what to do to make it look different.
Even though we only see it once this season, it still obviously has to be a living, breathing entity. So with only 4 of battlement to actually put live actors on and ladders up against,
I didn't know those are the same place.
A huge challenge for the visual effects department.
Jaime makes the strategic decision to give up Casterly Rock, to use it as a decoy. Meanwhile, he goes after Highgarden, which is much more valuable because Highgarden's the Tyrell stronghold, which commands all the most fertile regions of Westeros.
When we're in Highgarden,
that's where all the money is.
Lovely location that they found
he did a good job with that.
Spain. It's a great old castle. There are shots where we see it where Jaime's approaching it. Those were shot completely differently, and we shot a plate of the castle and put it into that scene. Alina was shot on a stage, and of course, Jaime's forces were all shot here in Spain. So it is sort of combining a couple different things from a couple different locations.
Abandoned the family home, completely unsentimental. Father would have been proud.
It's nice when Tyrion isn't always right. It's great when these characters make errors, make mistakes, proves them more human.
When you have a big battle sequence, especially one where you have multiple points of view, you have to figure out how you balance those and whose eyes do you want to primarily tell the story through.
Oh man,
I chose to focus on Jaime.
Yeah, that was a good call on this one.
Being on the other side of a dragon attack.
And
you have Daenerys
and that made it more important, I think,
the first time in Westeros,
that Tyrion was on the other side.
Lannister trying to hold together his troops in the middle of watching the world change forever.
The loot train is certainly bigger than anything we've done up to this season. There's a lot of different beats to the attack. There's Drogon setting lots of things and people on fire.
To give an idea, in season 6 we had 11 shots that featured Emilia riding the dragon. This year we have over 80. The dragons double in size every year. And the dragons were huge last year, and this year they're twice again. Dragon Buck, which is the practical thing that Emilia sits on, is also twice as big.
It's really neat how they just blow air.
So the overall progression.
Yeah, it is really neat.
Is beautiful sunny skies to completely claustrophobic black smoke and ash and dark and hellish situation.
What gets the heart racing, hopefully in that sequence, is Jaime Lannister grabbing a spear, riding for Dany. He wants to kill her, and you don't want him to. At the same time, you don't want her to turn around and torch him.
And it's impossible to really want any one of them to win and impossible to want any one of them to lose. And Tyrion has the most complex set of emotions about this battle of anyone. Because
they've had other battles where there have been people we liked on both sides.
On the other end.
Seeing my family lose.
They had Robb against Jaime. They've had
perhaps about to be killed. It's a real struggle.
Battle of Blackwater.
Every piece of his being is wishing he can intercede, but he can't.
This whole sequence, you're suddenly like, oh my God, I'm living out these kind of dreams I had as a kid. And it's amazing to be put in this situation and have so much going on with the fire around me. It's like, don't have to think about acting so much.
What they do in camera is amazing.
And they're performers for a reason. They're really
do these battles like this.
And they'll have ideas about, this would make this fight better, or this would raise the stakes. The horse department is the same way. Camilla, who's the head of the horse department, she brought some great ideas to us. She said, what about when, as the Dothraki are coming down, if they all just stood up on their horses and started shooting?
I remember commenting on that. That was so cool.
That sounds great, but that's not possible.
It is really cool.
She said, no, it is.
The dragons have grown. You know, they're the size of a 747 now. So they're big.
Oh my God.
So you'd think then that the amount of people they burn in one go would increase, you know, and there was a few raised eyebrows when I suggested 20. And it wasn't just because it's a record, although it is. It was because, you know, we just needed to see the scope of what was happening. So that was quite a challenge, and it's not been done before. You know, the most I've done before that was 6. Now 6 seems like a sedate number.
George Martin's often said that the Dothraki are...
Only having 6 on fire is not that many.
Yeah, that was tame.
Who would often fight more traditionally organized armies and make them look foolish because they were just so unorthodox in their battle approach. So definitely got a bit of that Western feel, but then you throw dragons in.
The special effects department led by Sam Conway did a brilliant job of building these charcoal paper figures that turn into dust the minute that you turn them on fire and blow air at them. And so we have some of that happening throughout the loot train. And then later we see it with the Tarleys.
That's really cool.
When you're watching Dany execute the Tarleys, you know, hopefully there would be some argument about what she's done.
I think this is an argument that the show is continually presenting both sides for.
Yeah.
Always. It's asking you, the audience, to question what power means, what it is to
What do you
have it,
think,
what it
Josh?
is-
Did she do the right thing?
No. You are the noob on this. What did you think about her burning the Tarleys?
It's when his son steps forward and throws himself in with his father. That's really the place where Tyrion's counseling, don't destroy the entire future of this house because of the father's decision.
I wasn't a super fan of that.
That she can't let him go. It's that really, I think, starts to make Tyrion maybe a little bit uneasy.
Tyrion is most definitely.
That's really hard
for Daenerys.
She
From then on, she's questioning my loyalty to her, and I think Tyrion is questioning his own loyalty to her.
Yeah, she didn't want to take prisoners because she took a really firm position on that.
That's what I used to tell her.
No slaves, nobody in prison, but then you end up just killing people.
Jon Snow.
Yeah, there's things I like about Daenerys, but ultimately I think I don't think she's super mature.
Now, and there's no more time.
Yeah.
The clock is ticking. What do we do now?
Like even how she handled Jon, you know, like later things that happen. It's just
like any of these situations on the show, the one who figures it out is Tyrion, which is the only way you're going to prove it to people is to show it to people.
I love this though. When that thing runs at Cersei.
Yeah, that was really cool.
We have around us, and in the dragon pit scene, the atmosphere there, it was just so incredible.
Italica is a phenomenal location. It's not often you would ever get permission to shoot somewhere, you know, where the Romans built, and that still has Roman concrete.
Yeah, that's insane.
Unbelievable.
That's cool.
Just as somewhere that you might go as a tourist, it's something that you ought to see when you're in that part of the world. I know for Team Podesper it was very difficult to shoot.
This is one of the more complex scenes I've ever been asked to shoot. You have almost the entire cast of the show in one place for a very long sequence with very important and very specific beats to capture. You have like Cersei seeing Tyrion for the first time in a long time, her mortal enemy. That's a moment. The first time Euron sees Theon, and you know, what's that moment?
Yeah.
So do that times 500. And that's kind of what this scene is.
That scene, we commented on that too, like, this is very much like all the family members coming in, and, I was so mad at Euron, though, when he came in here and immediately started, like...
And she tries desperately to not be
ignoring everyone else and calling out Tyrion.
Standing up in awe of this.
Sorry, calling out Theon,
and then, you know, in walks this young beauty of a queen, and she's immediately beyond frustrated on many levels.
We've been here for some time.
My apologies. And that then drives her in the scene. She can't bear it. It's this quiet,
We've been here for some time.
Death stares, really, between the two of us. Daenerys has seen it, and she's aware of it, and it's frightening, but she is just watching Cersei. Like, she just needs to know that this has affected her, so that she can know that we can lay all our cards on the table and believe that when she says that she will have a truce, she means it.
I love Cersei's reaction.
I love that is one of the first moments we actually see
After
fear
they see the dead
on
in
her
the dragon
face.
pit, Jaime realizes that all of these crazy tales that people have been telling, including his own brother, are true, and that there is a war coming that's threatening everyone, no matter what side you're on.
Yep.
When she says that the Lannisters will fight alongside the North and Dany against this threat. And I think a part of Jaime is even happy to do so. He's always been tagged with the moniker of Kingslayer and a traitor.
I think
he finally gets to be on the right side.
Yeah, he wants to finally be a hero.
He takes that away.
His dad's dead. He doesn't have anybody.
The Targaryens have united against us, and you want to fight alongside them. Are you a traitor?
I made a promise.
We shot elements of whites on green screen. That will be the basis of the White Army traveling across. We shot tons of plates in Iceland.
So we
still look vicious, though.
Season 7 Viserion model.
I never understood her locking them all up like that.
Viserion model, and then we did a lot of research on ice buildup on cars and buses. Basically, where does the snow?
She knew that they were killing people that she was trying to save, so it was a hard thing to
flying always in the snowy, icy environment.
Try to rule the people if you were one of the biggest threats to them.
It's so digital, and it has so much particle sim work to do, which must be exactly right, or the whole sequence fails.
We write, then the wall comes tumbling down, and it's really easy to type those words, but it's really hard for them to make it look good.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of.
He said stood for 1,000 years.
Like season finale than the wall falling.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
Like, since season 1,
it's like, all right, fur's gonna.
Pretty great that it was.
Happen.
Yeah, it took the dragon to do it, though.
Seeing how much fun the actors had with it, that's what
I felt like
me about it, and the characters are going to a place.
If Daenerys had not gone north,
they're facing
the wall may not have fallen. You know,
well, it probably wouldn't have.
Real.
She brought her army and her defenses, but she also potentially brought the dragon.
She also created the incident for them.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That was
such a great show. That was a neat one. That was neat to watch.
Cool. Well, thank you all for joining us again today with watching a special feature.
Season 8 coming up.
Season 8 coming up. It's exciting. I can't believe we're almost done with this thing.
It's wild.
We've been watching together now for a couple years. A lot of it virtual, but it's been really fun. So thank you guys for joining us. And until season 8, then. I'm Josh Dawes.
I'm Josh Dawes. Wait.
Whatever it is, we're still the Wester Bros.
We are. It's true.
We'll see you guys next season.
Holy smokes! That was crazy. Thanks for watching with us today, guys. That was absolutely insane.
That was pretty freaking crazy.
I hope you liked it. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel, stay notified, click that little bell.
And support us on Patreon.
Yeah.
We'd love to see you there.